So welcome everyone to a special episode of the Traveling Image Makers podcast with your host Hugo Che. This is a special episode recorded from the road, or maybe we should say from the canal, because we are here in Venice, and I'm here with my guest today, Darlene Hildebrandt. Say
Hello.
hi, Darlene.
Hi.
It's also a special video episode. If you're listening to it on the podcast, just the audio, and you want to watch us, see how we look like, you can go to the website where there will be a full video. And just as a reminder, the website is ttim.photo as always. So Darlene, welcome to Venice, or actually, well, you've been here a week, so it's been your welcome has already been extended to a week. This is going to be your last day in Venice?
Yes. It's bittersweet. It's been a great week. We've seen a lot of things. We've photographed a lot of things. It's a little bit chilly this morning, so we have some covered up. The fog rolled in, so that was kind of cool to see. It's been a great experience.
So yeah, it's chilly because it's February, of course. Why would you come to Venice in February? It's because of the carnival, of course, right?
Yes.
You can come to Venice any time of the year, but the main reason for you was to come for the carnival. And I remember we talked about you coming here. When was that? Like more than 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
A few things happened. Do you want to recall what happened?
I broke my foot, I think, at one point.
In Colombia, right?
I broke my foot in Colombia, so that was out for a little while, and then I had other things conflicting the schedule, and it just lined up this year for me to be here. And thank you for inviting me to come for the workshop and to help you out. We had some great students this week, and I would love to do it again. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for coming, of course. So it was your first time in Venice?
First time in Venice.
No,
I've been to Rome before, but Venice Carnival in particular was on my bucket list, so I could check that off.
Check that off. Is it been what you expected? Tell us something that you did not expect, maybe about the Venice Carnival or Venice in general.
I did not expect so many photographers. It was kind of like Pushkar in India. We went to Pushkar to photograph the camel herders early in the morning, and it was kind of like that here. You know, it's like the camel herders here. It's like there was probably at some point 3 times as many photographers as there was masked characters. And I mean, if you're coming to Carnival and you're want to photograph it, I recommend you kind of have to be a little bit aggressive to get the picture, but I recommend just have patience. You know, the characters pose for you, and they know how to make nice pictures, so they know where to go and where to stand at which kinds of times of the day. So just wait your turn. I've seen a lot of pushy, really rude photographers this week, so don't be that person.
Don't be that person. So like Pushkar, but minus the dust.
And the camels.
And the camels.
Minus the camels.
Were you expecting to see those so much elaborate costumes? I mean, some of those outfits are really incredible.
I've seen your photos before, and I've seen other people's photos before of the carnival, and I knew they were elaborate, but it was over the top. Like some of them they have lights built in, they've got moving parts, one lady has a hat that weighs 6 kilograms, and she walks around with this thing all day, and it's amazing. They wear these things all day, they wear the mask, they can't eat, they can't drink, and they just walk around in this costume all day. But they obviously love it because they keep doing it.
They must love it. I mean, I've known some people who have been coming to the carnival for, I don't know, that couple we met, they said 30
some years.
30 some years, so
Yeah.
they've been doing it. They started as photographers.
Yeah.
They came here to photograph the masks, and then they started loving it, and they said the following year they came with a little mask, and then it's been growing more and more elaborate. And
Lots of people from France wearing the masks, so if you speak some French, I have a little bit of French, that will help you.
Yeah, Italians speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Italian here.
Lots of Germans as well.
Communication sometimes is not easy because some people are speaking maybe just French or Italian and they wear a mask, so the voice is muffled. It's hard to understand, but we get by with gestures. Just go there, come, please, I want to take your photo, and those kind of gestures always help.
I did some shoot this morning. We're in St. Mark's Square, so it's San Marco, and just over there, all the gondolas bobbing in the water, the iconic shot. And if you come at sunrise, before sunrise for a blue hour, that's kind of the iconic shot. So that's what I wanted to get this morning. I've got the masked character on the dock, and I lit them with the flash from the side. I was kind of annoying some other photographers this morning with my running off the camera flash, but I got the shot I wanted this morning.
In terms of equipment, what did you bring here?
I have my Fuji X-T3 and my go-to travel lens 18 to 135. That's the one I carry all the time. I also have 35 1.4, which is great for low light shooting without a tripod. I use that a lot. I also brought a lens baby, which was kind of fun to play with because you see a lot of shots of characters in the carnival, so I wanted to be different. And I was very excited to get my XT1, my old XT1, converted to infrared, and I brought that with me for the first time. And I took some shots of several of the characters, and I posted some on Facebook, and she liked it, so that's good.
Yeah, my main recommendation if you want to come here for the carnival is to travel light.
Simplify.
You said the 18-135 is a great lens. Of course, you can also use a prime, which helps when it's dark and so on. But I've seen people, and I made this mistake myself, come here with big backpacks, 2 cameras, 3 lenses, 70-200 f2.8 lens,
Yeah.
and it just slows you down. And events are happening all over the city, and there's not a lot of transportation in the city. I mean, there are no cars, there are no buses, there are no bicycles, so you can only move on your feet or by water. And when you have to walk a kilometer or 2 and you have a big backpack, then it starts
Over the bridges.
Yeah, you go. Venice is flat, but there are many bridges. So every time you want to go from point A to point B, you probably have to cross half a dozen bridges. And at the end of the day, you'll feel tired and you will feel grumpy. You don't want to do it anymore. So if you come here, my main recommendation is travel light. And this is a recommendation that I don't always follow myself. Sometimes I bring too much.
And what did you bring this year? Something special.
Yeah. This year I brought my new / old 4x5 view camera, my new toy that I got it recently. Started experimenting with film, especially large format film, and I thought that kind of a old-time vintage look, the whole setup would have worked well with some of the characters here in Venice. I mean, there are generally 2 types of costumes that you can find here. There's the one completely fantasy, and especially this is the costumes that people sew themselves. They generally have a mask, and they have dresses that don't represent anything.
I saw squids yesterday.
Yeah, well, we see squids and others. And then there are more historical costumes.
Batman this morning.
What's that?
Batman.
Batman. Yeah, well, there's also some cosplayers, right? But there are also some historical costumes. There was some that we saw from the 1800s, from the beginning of the 1900s. That works great, I think, with film to get some old-time look. Hope I got something interesting there. I don't know. I still have to develop the film when I get home and see what I got.
And you wore the costume of the old-time photographer.
I dressed up myself with a vest and a bow tie, looking like 1910s, 1920s photographers. So I happened to be photographed myself instead of photographing other people. That was fun. That's also part of the being here. I mean, a lot of people are very focused, committed on getting photos, and they don't think of anything else. But I think it's a fun event, and over the years, personally, I've made friendship with many of the people who come here. We meet up, we go for drinks, we go for coffees, and just have fun chatting. And sometimes we don't even take photos because we've known each other for years, and it's a fun event.
That's a good point, because I've met other photographers in different places of the world, like Pushkar I mentioned. I met Australian photographer Malcolm. He does photo tours as well, and he was doing a tour and I was doing a tour, and we just met in Pushkar. We were staying at the same hotel and we stayed in touch, and he actually connected me to help me set up my Cuba tour. And then he was in Cuba at the same time as I was, so we met up again. So I've met other people in other countries as well. and it's great to stay in touch. I feel like I have these international photography friends, like Ugo.
Yeah, it's good to have these friendships. And this is a place, as Darlene said right this morning, there were some masks, many of them probably more in the previous days, and a ton of photographers. There's like a ratio of 3 photographers to 1.
Oh, maybe even more.
That doesn't mean you cannot. You always have to go to a place that is overrun by photographers. There are opportunities if you know where to go to be more, to be quieter, to be in a quieter place, to have more time with a specific model. That experience coming back from Burano, right? You remember?
Yes, so I had a serendipitous experience because we took the boat to Burano, which is this beautiful, colorful island where they make the lace, and we spent a couple of hours there. But when we were walking to get on the boat, we walked past this building that was falling down and had these 2 archways, and the light coming through was beautiful. And I remember thinking, oh wow, I think I even said it out loud, I would love to have a couple of masked characters right there and photograph them right there in that spot. And then when we were coming back from Burano, there was this French couple and their friends and this other lady. The French couple was dressed like birds, and I photographed them another time. And so we were on the boat together, we're walking past that spot. We'd already taken photos of them on a bridge, and the man who is the bird says to me, oh, will you take my picture here? And it happened to be the exact spot that I had seen in the morning and I wanted to take a picture of. So I got to make a picture of them in that spot, and it was perfect. And we just happened to be walking with them.
Yeah, and essentially it was just our group.
Yeah.
Some people went by with a cell phone behind our backs. They took some photos, so it's still possible to find some quiet corners. Aside from the carnival, what else did you discover in Venice?
They have some unique food items here. I had some biguli last night for dinner with sardines and onions, which is a typical Venetian dish, apparently. It was interesting. It was very salty. We've also had what is the ciccola? How do you say the little appetizers?
The cicchetti.
Cicchetti, we had those.
Cicchetti are like tapas.
It's like a tapas.
Venetian version of tapas, or maybe tapas are the Spanish version of cicchetti. We don't know.
With the toast with different things on top. Creamed cod was very good. Venetian sausage. The spritz drink, cocktail, so bright orange. Gotta have that. And I'm starting to get used to espresso. I like the concept of, if you need to use the toilet, you can use the public toilet and pay like €1 or €1.50, or you can pay €1.50, get an espresso, get your boost of caffeine, use the toilet, and then off you go.
That's my recommendation to people when they ask me for a toilet. Just go to a bar. Don't go to a bar and ask to use the toilet without buying anything, but just buy an espresso. At the bar, it will be between €1.50, depending on the place, and there you go. You get your toilet and your espresso.
And my recommendation would be to come to Venice to do the carnival with Ugo, because of the private things that you mentioned, like the models. We had some privately organized photo shoots. We did some shoots at night with the flash, and you bring all the gear with the softbox and everything. And I brought a whole bunch of light painting stuff, and thank you to Jason from Light Painting Brushes, because he gave me a bunch of things to try out. So we did some light painting with a couple that had some really interesting costumes. And another serendipitous thing, some people were going by, this lady from Germany and her friend had these costumes all black with these lights on. And we said, oh, your costumes are perfect. Get in Ugo's idea, get in the picture. And they got in the picture, and then she started to get into the idea of the light painting. And she said, well, what if I, dance through the picture while you're making the exposure? So she did that. And then she says, oh, it's too much light. Okay, I'm going to go behind them. So we ended up with a really great picture, and it was kind of a collaboration of minds.
Yeah. I hope the audio is fine, because we have a group of people behind us doing it's like the Irish dances or something. This is the carnival. It's a bit crazy, and we're in the middle of St. Marcus Square.
Things happen,
right. But specific locations maybe in Venice or experiences you had aside from the food.
And aside from a bird pooping on my head?
The bird pooping on your head.
uh, um, I'm Danielle, my partner with the tours, knows I am not a very early morning person, but getting up for the sunrise and coming to the square, I think that's probably one of my favorite moments. Also visiting the puppet maker that
yeah.
you organized. We visited a man who makes the marionettes. He's been doing that for 30 years, I think he said. Definitely a dying art, and that was really, really interesting to meet him and see his passion in a house in Venice that's like 300 years old. Really interesting.
Yeah, the man is. I always bring my people to that place because he has so much passion in the work that he does. So if you want to come to Venice and visit his workshop where he creates those creations, those puppets.
He made a puppet of Captain Jack Sparrow for Johnny Depp.
For Johnny Depp, yeah. He has some interesting clients too.
Indeed.
So do you think you will come back to Venice eventually?
I would like to, yeah. I think I'd like to experience it without Carnival as well. You know, not so many people, and see some of the back streets. Like today, I'm just going to meet a friend. And we'll have lunch and wander a little bit. She lives in Italy, so I'm interested to see it from her perspective as well. I love to travel and I love to see all different things. And Venice is very different than, say, Rome, right? The city has a very different vibe, and I'm staying at an Airbnb now, and the lady's very nice, very friendly, nice family. I recommend, if you've never been to Venice, just come.
Yeah, and don't be scared by the crowds. I know Venice can be crowded, especially for the carnival. Right now we're in San Marco Square, and it's 7 in the morning, like 7:30. They're setting up fences and corridors for people to herd people into the square and avoid people being trampled, because there's going to be, I think they are in the square today. They are going
final
to do
party or something.
Final most beautiful mask contest and those kind of things, and they expect a lot of people. But Venice is interesting. A friend of mine says that I don't know how many million tourists come each year to Venice, but like 99% of them, they come to San Marco, they come to the Bridge of Sighs, the Rialto Bridge, and that's it. Even when it's in San Marco Square is incredibly crowded, you walk a few hundred meters to one of those side streets and it's incredibly quiet. There are some neighborhoods where we went the other day, we went to the puppet maker, we were in this neighborhood, we didn't see a single masked person.
No.
Right? So Venice is still a living city, despite the fact that there are tourists, there are cruise ships going by, there's lots of things happening, there are beautiful museums, so it attracts a lot of people, but it still has many, many corners that are like the old Venice, very quiet, very quaint.
We even had a reggae dancing the other night.
Yeah, well, we have reggae dancing in the square at night sometimes. This bar was
very good ice cream, of course.
You seem very enthusiastic about the food.
I like food. Everywhere I travel, I like to have the local food, have something that is typical of this city or this country. I'm not here to go to Burger King. Right?
No. There is McDonald's here, but just avoid it.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Okay. It was great to have you here, and thanks for this interview. We're not just going, I think we're going to go to a place nearby where there's going to be a group of masked people that are doing a walk, kind of a parade across the city. So we might be following them for a while. So I hope you'll excuse us if we have to go. It was great to have you here again in Venice. Let me repeat this, and I hope we can repeat this experience. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Hugo. It's been fantastic. As we're sitting here, there's like a photo shoot going on there. There's something over there. It's you can find anything you want to photograph here in Venice, from, like he said, the very quiet side canals and side streets, which I did the first night that I was here, or the main square and the main tourist attractions. But it's a beautiful city. I've heard lots of things about Venice. Some people say, oh, it's dirty, it's too touristy, it's this, it's that. But I found that there's all kinds of little side pockets and pieces of Venice that there's lots of history, and just looking at the building and imagining what it was like in its glory. I love it. I will come back.
All right, so that's all for today. Now let's get out and shoot.
Because it's freezing.